Aloha, my name is Taylor Norris, and I'm the creator of Flower of Healing Reiki, unifying holistic health and spiritual awakening. In today's video, I want to elaborate on something I mentioned in my remote Reiki and distant Reiki video about Reiki skill, practitioner skill, and Reiki mastery. Just to clarify and talk more deeply about what does that even mean? What does Reiki skill mean? What does Reiki mastery mean? In Reiki sessions, Reiki Energy does indeed do the releasing and healing work. It does the revealing and the empowering. That is very clear. And there are some ways that practitioners can enhance their skills and become more masterful in their understanding of Reiki energy and the tools and techniques they apply in daily life and sessions and classes and trainings in any way that Reiki energy is being used for any purpose. Practitioner skill is more about the extent to which a practitioner or Reiki master can set their ego and personal energy aside and truly be a clear channel of Reiki energy, who is part of the healing team. So the Reiki practitioner or Reiki master is part of the healing team. In other types of healing modalities, the practitioner may be the entire healing team. And this is not the case in Reiki. However, the practitioner is definitely part of the healing team. So I want to be really clear about that. In Reiki sessions, the healing team includes the practitioner, the Reiki energy, which is invited by the Reiki practitioner or Reiki master, and any other specific guides, frequencies, or energies that are called upon by the practitioner and filtered in through the invitation of Reiki energy to assist the client for their purposes and their intentions, whatever they may be in a Reiki session. So interestingly, I used to sort of select which guides in the past I would invite into a session because I had some that I was working with, and that felt really good for me at the time. But now I've shifted into, I basically am letting Reiki energy sort all of that out for me because I know Reiki knows better than I can ever know what all is needed for the client and for the session. So I can have certain ideas about it, and that's okay, and that's beautiful. But this is the way I've shifted into recently, and it feels really good. So I just work with the Reiki energy and let it bring in whatever needs to be brought in for the client and for the session. I don't want to limit Reiki. I don't want to block it in any way. I let Reiki cast out that net of what support is needed, what assistance is needed, so that it can all show up. And I'm in no way interfering with that. I'm just letting that happen. I also will typically invoke specific frequencies such as unconditional love, the divine light of beauty, the divine light of compassion, peace, high frequencies like that. And in invoking those frequencies too, certain beings will come because they're resonating at those frequencies. Certain spiritual guides, ascended masters, and so forth will show up and be part of the team, just in casting out that intention of the frequencies that I'm calling in for a session. So I also always call in the earth, because if we're doing a Reiki session, I'm on the earth and the other person is on the earth. So the earth is definitely going to be very relevant to the work that's being done. I also include the brothers and sisters in the light, which is how Reiki kind of talks about the ascended masters, the founders of all the world's religions and spiritual paths that have ascended into such a high frequency that their consciousness is totally unified. And they can kind of pop down as individuals or as this collective. And they're really, really amazing to work with. Really, really beautiful beings. And then what's cool in sessions, I basically get to notice whatever else comes in, whether it's a specific guide or beloved one of the client, or a particular energy shows up, a being shows up. It's like, yeah, nice. Reiki invited you. I invited you, indirectly. And it's really wonderful that way. It's kind of, it's beautiful. So I'm always thanking all that assists us. Lately, I changed my language to thank all that assists us, because I'm aware that the assistance is so great. And there's no way for me to categorically name out everything that's helping, because our assistance is just so incredible right now. We're really blessed. And I kind of put out my sincere blanket thank you of the healing team. So you're part of the healing team. That's the healing team. It's going to look different for different practitioners. So I'm just explaining my way. And this isn't like the right way or the only way. There are a lot of right ways to think about a healing team. So practitioner skill and mastery is also about the quantity and quality of Reiki energy the practitioner or master is able to channel. So to kind of break that down, it's what Reiki energy or energies is the practitioner using. Certain lineages have certain energies associated, like holy fire lineage. That's a specific holy fire Reiki energy. There is animal Reiki energy. That's a specific animal Reiki energy. There is world peace Reiki energy, which is a specific frequency of Reiki energy. And what I'm developing and using now a lot in combination with holy fire and world peace Reiki energies, which are embedded in and very much closely aligned with and kind of foundational to flower of healing energy, which is the specific energy that came to me. And I very much accepted and said, yes. It answered questions that I was asking. So this is part of that practitioner skill and mastery, is which Reiki energies are at their disposal, because there are a lot of really amazing specific frequencies of Reiki energy that are available. So also, which symbols is the practitioner working with? What all attunements have they had? What trainings have they had? Additional symbols, trainings, and attunements allow the practitioner Reiki master to call in those specific frequencies of energy for you to receive in a session. So that's going to vary from practitioner to practitioner, master to master. I've also noticed that the degree of realization of the practitioner master can also enhance the session. That said, Reiki is going to work for any practitioner who's had the attunements and had some training, regardless of their degree of, self-realization, spiritual realization. And the beauty is that Reiki will continue to work better and better for any practitioner or master who continues to improve and consciously work on their self-realization. So that's a really neat thing too. Like, obviously, most people who are getting into Reiki are on some sort of spiritual path, and Reiki will help develop and enhance that spiritual path. Yeah, it's a really cool process because the effectiveness of the Reiki goes up and the effectiveness of the perception of how Reiki energy works goes up, and the results just get better and better. But I also want to be very clear that someone coming fresh out of Reiki 1 and 2 with those attunements, like what they're doing in a session is absolutely working. I immediately started giving sessions after Reiki 1 and 2 and had really amazing results right off the bat. So any level of training is awesome, but additional skill and additional positive results come with more attunements and more training and more practice and experience. So yeah, just to recap, I found that additional trainings, receiving sessions myself, and more committed time in self-Reiki and Reiki awareness being activated consciously 24/7 to understand and consciously work with and be guided by the energy has greatly enhanced my own spiritual awakening and holistic health, all aspects of my life, as well as the results that others are receiving in sessions with me. It's just gotten better and better over time. The results have gotten better and better over time with more practice, more training, and more upgrades of the energy that I'm working with in my field. So another aspect of practitioner skill is what skillful means. Can the practitioner apply to meet your needs? What type of Reiki techniques and tools have they learned in their training or been guided by Reiki energy to actually create and innovate themselves? The techniques may best assist you in receiving the energy and all the benefits. So some techniques will gently guide and facilitate the delivery of specific amazing results. So in other trainings, I've learned like Reiki journey techniques, for example, have been awesome and really tapping into receiving better and more specific guidance for clients and being able to dialogue with the energy better and trust my intuition more in terms of the information that's being received in sessions. In various trainings too, like in the manuals, there are additional techniques at the master level, additional techniques at the Karuna Reiki master level, and all of these can be applied to really enhance the Reiki session. And then lately, in the past few months, Reiki is showing me that certain things do indeed need to be asked for, especially regarding very high frequency spiritual gifts. And that is my personal motivation in part behind all the new flower of healing techniques that I'm developing and creating all the time and actually sharing in the flower of healing group sessions that I'm doing on first quarter moon and third quarter moon, as well as the recordings that are all available on my website, taylornorrisreiki.com, because I'm noticing flower of healing energy is doing certain things and letting me know that it can do even more if I ask for specific things. But like the really high spiritual gifts, kind of have to ask for them for them to be given. There has to be sincere desire and sincere intention there. So I'm having a lot of fun creating techniques from what I've learned in my Reiki trainings, but also in my experience with yoga and meditation and visualization and other spiritual practices. So incorporating all of those into new flower of healing Reiki techniques and sharing those with others to receive the blessings and spiritual gifts that are available to us right now. So in all sessions and applications of Reiki energy, there are some essential keys, no matter the level of training. So one of those being discernment, that careful judgment, that positive judgment, that healthy judgment of discernment is essential in sessions. as well as observation and listening. That is so key and so critical in Reiki sessions. So during a session, Reiki Energy may be inviting a practitioner to perform a certain function, such as a hand position, a hand placement, a different symbol, or use a specific technique. What I was noticing with this is that I'll hear the name of a specific technique and I'll ask, do I need to do that, or is that happening? Are you doing that? Because again, remember, you're part of the healing team. And often it's like, no, you just became aware that a spirit release is happening. You don't have to get out your manual and like do it. It's happening. Just, be aware of it. So that's really, really nice to have that kind of that discernment, that listening, that observation, and knowing what am I being asked to do in the session. And that's different. So the practitioner may receive certain images, messages, or other information through their clair senses. All of these heightened, clear versions of the basic five senses, as well as additional senses like clear knowing and like clear cognition and others. And these images, messages, and information can be beneficial to share with the client. However, that's where the discernment comes in. So knowing your accuracy, this is where practice sessions are really, really good to get an idea. Are the messages and images, like the information I'm receiving during a session, are they accurate or not? And actually taking the time to do some practice sessions with somebody or many people can help understand if you are accurate or not. And if you are, to start trusting it and receiving more information and knowing that you can share certain things with clients, but being really present too with that information and also keeping in mind your scope of practice. So it would be inappropriate for me, because I'm not a medical doctor, to share medical advice, which I have absolutely less than 0% interest in sharing medical advice with a Reiki client. However, I am certified and trained in psychology, in holistic health coaching, in yoga, in Ayurveda, in astrology, in meditation, cleansing, detoxification, raw food, and some other topics. So I'm able to speak with authority in those subjects in terms of messages that come through. Or if I'm also clairvoyant, so I receive a lot of imagery and I can receive and share that imagery. And I can share that imagery without like an interpretation of it, because I often don't know the meaning of the imagery. However, the imagery I'm perceiving often means something very, very clearly to the client. So for example, if you are a holistic health coach and you're a Reiki practitioner, it would be appropriate if you receive specific information or messages about certain little dietary tweaks or health habits that may be beneficial for a client, to go ahead and share that with a client if you're guided to do so. The key is in the listening and observing of the energy of Reiki during a session. This is a more feminine focus, receiving, noticing, being aware, rather than being in charge or in command of the Reiki energy, or in any way forcing your will into the session to heal the client or to demand specific results, this kind of masculine way. So the practitioner role is much more of a feminine way. This is one way of thinking of it, than this masculine assertion of will and force, because we're literally vessels receiving the energy. And as practitioners and masters, we get to notice it and be part of that team in our unique, authentic ways. And you may be wondering, well, why in some sessions, are there miracle results and others there are not? I've done a lot of questioning and dialoguing with Reiki about this because, I have had fantastical results happen and happen very immediately. Other very fantastical results have happened, and they've happened, more over time. And, being curious, naturally, I'm so curious. So I'm always asking questions, which is why Reiki is such a good fit for me because I get answers. And even just the act of the questioning is just so amazing. But it's my belief that the results of a session have to do with a direct agreement between Reiki energy, the soul of the person receiving Reiki, which is often largely unconscious, and the conscious free will of the Reiki client or recipient of Reiki energy. That's how it works. It's kind of like this trinity of Reiki energy, the soul, largely unconscious, usually, of the Reiki client or recipient, and the conscious free will, that conscious part of the Reiki client. That's what's deciding the results of the session, as well as determining what needs to be healed. And then there's that added layer of that the Reiki practitioner and master keeping out of the way and simply being open to receive positive results all around, for self, for the client, just being super open to those positive results on behalf of the client and the Reiki practitioner. So having Reiki, again, this is my perception. I'm sure other Reiki practitioners have different ideas about why certain results are there. But in my perception, Reiki is operating according to natural laws, universal laws, multiversal laws, because in my experience and perception, it's not just a universe. Multiverse is probably not even the correct word either, but Reiki is working according to any and all higher cosmic laws, cosmic principles, cosmic order. And so karma is always cleaned, cleansed, healed, purified, and Reiki is in no way interfering in some kind of negative or unnatural or otherwise harmful way with regard to karma. And in what I've been shown is that this way, that kind of trinity focus that I said with the Reiki energy, the soul of the recipient and the conscious part of the recipient, again, with a practitioner who's not getting in the way, that this all keeps the karma very clean. Because one way for it to not be clean is the practitioner getting in the way and like wanting too badly for certain results to be there for their own ego aggrandizement or, whatever other reason that might be happening. So that can be a way a karma might not be clean, but doing it this way, the karma is really clean, and the results, again, very much vary according to that direct agreement that is in complete harmony on all levels of existence. So what are your thoughts? What do you think about this video? What does Reiki skill mean to you if you're a Reiki practitioner? What does Reiki master or Reiki mastery mean to you? I'm really curious to connect with you and hear more perspectives. This is my perspective, and it's my right way, but there are a lot of right ways to perceive and experience and talk about all of this. So I hope my perspective was helpful, beneficial to you. I look forward to connecting more with you and to sharing Reiki energy with you. I would love the privilege of sharing Reiki with you. If you're interested, my website is taylornorrisreiki.com. All the offerings are there. And there's an upcoming group that is going to be amazing with the Samadhi technique, the ultimate manifestation, on this third quarter moon coming up on Wednesday, July 20th. I am so excited to share this new flower of healing technique with all of you. And I so appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being on a holistic health journey, on a spiritual awareness journey, on a Reiki journey, on whatever kind of journey you're on. Have the best travels ever. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo.